Hello, I'm Jessica Amir, market analyst with BuildDirect. Today we're chatting to the co-founder and chief operating officer of Zip, Z1P, Peter Gray. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jess. Great to be here.
So Zip is gaining a lot of attention. People are increasingly using the Zip app. Sales are growing, and in particular in the US. And now many are seeing Zip shares as undervalued, especially when compared to the likes of Afterpay. So as a result of all of this, Zip has become one of the most traded stocks across our business. Just tell us more about Zip for those who are unfamiliar.
Yeah, so Zip is a true pioneer in the buy now, pay later space. Certainly not a Johnny come lately like the Commonwealth Bank trying to dress itself up as a fintech and embrace the demand of younger generations of Australians. We founded the business in 2013, and we really did identify an opportunity, to break down the unfair world of the credit card by offering consumers simple, interest-free, transparent solutions to make their purchases. Originally online, but obviously now we have very strong momentum for in-store bricks and mortar retail transactions also. So that was the premise of the opportunity back in 2013, really to break down the unfair world of the credit card. We've scaled very strongly in Australia with north of 2.5 million consumers, mainstream Australians now adopting our solution. And what we've seen over the journey is the trend of consumer behaviour in this shift away from traditional credit products is not only just an Australian trend, it is a global trend. So we have very strong momentum across the business. The sector, to be truthful, is very strong, early stages of market maturity in the US, which is obviously a very large opportunity.
Definitely. So Zip and other buy now, pay later providers will continue to take market share from credit card providers. But I still think a lot of people, unless they use Zip, don't quite really understand that you've got two Zip products and how unique they really are.
Yeah, so effectively we're providing customers with a limit of available funds to make their purchases, and they're structuring repayments to repay those purchases in weeks and months, not years, when opposed to the unfriendly credit card where the minimum repayment sees the balance repaid in anywhere from 7 to 25 years. I think topically the average credit card age in Australia is now over 50. So it really is a solution that's not appealing to younger generations, newer generations of Australians. The average age of a Zip customer is about 36, typically slightly more financially savvy than some of the other competitive peer users. And we have seen very strong adoption. Initiatives like Tap and Zip really are starting to increase the frequency of utilisation. So that's a new feature that we offered our consumers, and those that have adopted that feature have used our service 21 times in the first 6 weeks since the launch of the feature. So it really is going some way to further disrupting credit card and increasing our engagement.
Nice. And with this, we've seen growth in your revenue, merchants and customers, all in the order of 10 to 20% in the quarter. Zip's gaining momentum in the US, which is a key region, and also launching into Canada and the Philippines. There's so much going on.
Yeah, so it was another exceptional set of numbers that we released for the quarterly. We were particularly pleased that we've been able to continue to deliver very strong growth across all metrics in what is typically a seasonally weak period. So in Australia, revenue growth of 10% quarter on quarter demonstrates the very robust nature of our revenue model. It's slightly differentiated from our competitive peers, and it is able to deliver strong growth. But again, the standout was our US business QuadPay. They delivered significant quarter on quarter growth in all key metrics, and we're up in the hundreds of percent on a year comparison. So the business really did exit 2020 with very strong momentum that has continued. They continue to differentiate in terms of unit economics. So the unit economics the business is delivering is far superior to any of the competitive peer set. And that is not coming at the expense of friction or any sort of inhibitor to transaction volume, which has been exceptional. So that north of 3.5 million consumers using the QuadPay service in the US. As you touched on, we do have some very strategic plays around the world, and we've recently soft launched in Canada. We've taken a strategic stake in TendoPay in the Philippines. We're also in the Middle East and in the middle of Europe as well. So we're sort of very alive to the opportunity that buy now, pay later presents for us at the moment. We have the ability to support some of our truly global retail partners in other jurisdictions as they fulfill their ambitions for growth as well.
So plenty of areas of growth, but lots of plays in the field. For Zip, what are the key catalysts and areas that we can watch out for?
Yeah, I think it's important to call out that we need to continue to execute on the opportunity in the US, and that is obviously the key market for us to continue sort of nailing that growth. It's very early stages of market maturity in what is developing to be a relatively competitive sort of market. So any of our other ambitions would not come at the expense of executing on our US strategy. However, we are very alive to the fact that buy now, pay later is truly a global phenomenon, and we do have an opportunity to build a truly global business. So key areas of interest for us are Asia, obviously significant population there to potentially offer our services to, but also the Middle East and Europe present great opportunities for us. We're also very early stages into the launch of our UK offering, so very strong ambitions for the UK market as well.
And for those tuning in, it's worth noting that Zip app downloads, in comparison to all the global competitors, are one of the fastest growing apps in terms of growth. But there are already two dominant players in the US, and you're also moving into Asia, and competition is pretty hot there too. What does Zip see are the biggest threats to the business?
Yeah, as you touched on, it's certainly a very competitive landscape in the US in its very early stages of market maturity. I think what we know and understand from our journey in Australia and the competitive dynamic here is that competition in the early stages of market maturity is actually a very good thing for all industry participants. It will significantly increase both awareness and adoption on the consumer and the retail side, and it will also increase the size of the overall opportunity. So, 4 or 5 heavyweights battling it out in the US, and certainly it's not even a winner-take-all market. So a very big opportunity for all participants there. All are delivering very strong growth rates, not only in terms of transaction volume, but also in terms of app downloads. An important call out, I think, is the differentiation of the QuadPay model in the US. It's delivering stronger unit economics, but it's also delivering much stronger levels of engagement via the app. So that's a bit of a differentiator and potentially a competitive advantage for the business. But again, very early stages of market maturity. So a $5 trillion opportunity probably has only penetrated about 2% of all online spend. I think many analysts have buy now, pay later getting up to 20% of all online spending. So very early stages and a long runway to go.
Okay, Peter, big picture now. 2 years from now, what will Zip look like?
Yeah, 2 years is certainly a long time in Zip years. I think, we see ourselves as, supporting north of 30 million consumers globally with a presence in about 15 different jurisdictions, and having that Zip market checkout, providing benefits to retailers, really disrupting that unfair world of the credit card and high interest is a great place to be right now. And we look forward to executing on our truly global opportunity.
And just lastly, anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, we're very excited for the opportunity that 2021 brings. We enter the next quarter with very strong momentum in all jurisdictions, delivering growth in all key metrics. So extremely excited. The stimulus programs being offered in the US really do present a tailwind for the US business. We look forward to continuing to execute on a differentiated strategy in that part of the world in what is very early stages of the biggest global opportunity for us. And we look forward to continuing to deliver on all our opportunities in all our jurisdictions. So big year coming for Zip, very early days in terms of our history, and look forward to continuing our growth.
And we'll be watching your growth story. Peter Gray, co-founder and COO of Zip. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And it's worth noting that Zip is a Citi BUY stock with an $11.30 12-month target. For more information, please head to Bell Direct's website.